Howdy campers, Jeremy Wright here with another brief tank talk. This one's kind of going to be a live maintenance episode. What we're looking at now is a little like 1 gallon nano tank and orange Neocaridina shrimp, soil under crushed coral sand. So this is a high pH system. It's unfiltered. There are seed shrimp, the orange neos. There are 3 in here, and there have been 3 in here for 9 months. I broke a colony apart probably August of last year. Put 3 in here, and shockingly, they haven't reproduced. One of those reasons is because I don't feed this tank at all, at all. Until today. I gave them a chunk of wafer, like a quartered Plico wafer, and I say not at all, but once a month or so I'll drop like a random bit of tiny food in here, but that's it. So there's no nutrient going into this system. They're just kind of doing their thing. So I'm about to do a little bit of a siphon. So I'm going to grab a pre-filter sponge to try and keep from sucking the seed shrimp out of here. And honestly, it's probably going to happen anyway because they're so small. It's just going to happen. But whatever. I'm going to grab a pre-filter sponge. And to be honest, this isn't like the cleanest pre-filter sponge. It's just one that came off of a filter and then set in an empty hang-on back for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or so. But we'll see what happens here in un momento. So I think the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to have to move this lid, and that's going to cause a lighting problem for you guys. But maybe not. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not. And next, we're going to give it the good old sucky on the hosey hose. And you can make your own jokes for that. Yeah, this is a very small tank. So probably, wow, it's less than a gallon. It might be 3/4 of a gallon. And that water is relatively orangish. So they'll probably enjoy some fresh. And I actually have a little bottle of distilled water that I might just use here. Yeah, I think I'll use that. We'll see what they think. So that water, just the water that was in the siphon hose, I'm expecting it to be relatively high pH, like 9.5. I haven't done a water test over here lately, but expecting it to be in the 9.5 range. And now we're going with the crackety crack on the distilled water jug, and just gonna go right in here. So this may be, oh, it's going to be a temperature difference, so I'm going to go in very slowly. Very slowly. I don't think this is going to be a major pH change, but it might drop it from like 9.5 down to 9. And in theory, that could cause an osmosis problem. What I mean by that is, if you drop the pH of an aquarium quickly, you run the risk of your organism's cells literally rupturing. The reason for that is as they try and osmoregulate inside and outside the cell walls to essentially get to the same concentration of ions, pH, etc. There's going to be an inrush of water to these creatures into the cell walls, and that could cause cells to rupture. Now I'm going from hard water to soft, well, like super soft. It's distilled water, right? So I should probably do this kind of slowly, maybe even to the point that that's like all I'm gonna do for now. And I mean, by my estimate, I raised the water level about 1 centimeter. Yeah, I'll probably just give it a pause here and come back in a little while and do some more. So cutting for a moment. All right, I think it's been about half an hour. So coming back over here, I'm gonna give them another centimeter or so of water. And you know, I didn't really look at the shrimp. Let me check. Yeah, they're still doing cool. I see 1, I see 2. That's probably how many I need to check on. The third one's probably pretty similar. So going back, I'm not just dumping the water in for a couple of reasons. I want the change to be slow, but also I don't want to like drill a hole in the sand here because there's soil under this sand. And I mentioned, or I think I mentioned, this is a soil under crushed coral tank, which is why the pH is high in this tank. But plenty of calcium for the little guys. The seed shrimp are happy. Other invertebrates would probably be very happy here. So I'm aiming for maybe a 1 centimeter increase in the water level. And then we'll do the same thing. That might not be quite 1 centimeter, but I think we're gonna pause, come back and do the same thing. Alrighty, matey, let's see. It's been another little bit, probably not 30 minutes, but it's been long enough that I'm willing to put some more water in here. Especially since the last time I don't think I quite filled it as much as I wanted to. Oh, and from my point of view, looking down in here, I'm definitely seeing seed shrimp that are still looking like they're happy, healthy, and thriving. That's a good sign. So I'll give you guys a view of what's going on down in here in just a moment. I don't know if you can actually see any shrimp or if you've seen any go by, but this is a kind of interesting little aquarium. I'll probably shoot for the halfway mark between here and the rim, and then come back for a final fill, you know, in a little bit. And let's see, this was a 1 gallon jug, and I've put about, I don't know, almost a ½ gallon in it. So maybe this is a gallon tank. I'm gonna lift this up a little bit and see if you can see any of the scrimpies. There's one kind of bottom center, and don't see the other two at the moment. But I do see seed shrimp zipping around. That's cool. Pausing again. Okay, it's approaching dark. We're probably like 30 minutes to dusk right now. So it hasn't quite been half an hour, but I want to fill this because the light is going to be kicking off soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this back up to the rim, and we'll see what happens. Now in this tank, what's going on? There are some tiny Anubias, tiny Buse, Java Fern, Guppy Grass, Hornwort, Redroot Floater. Prior to today, there was some, duckweed, limnose up in the top of this tank. And there was a lot more hornwort and guppy grass, just like significantly more. And kind of glad to have the duckweed out. And I thinned out some of the redroot floaters as well, moved them to other tanks. This tank, they're really, really close to the light. So they turn very red in the center of the tank and stay kind of green on the sides. And because this tank doesn't have any circulation other than shrimp, it just is what it is. So I'm going to try to give you guys a good view of one of the scrimpies. Oh, there are two up in the grass. So one's like right there, the other's up in there. Let's see if we can get a look-see. That one. Yeah. Where's the other? One of them is like quite colorless compared to the other two, and that's just been how it's always been. But those little critters are what they are. And zooming out, try to give you a look at what's going on. Little bitty tank, right? It's just a little bitty tank. Itsy bitsy thing. About a gallon. Again, unfiltered. And that's just what it is. So I'll give you an update on this tank maybe in a few weeks or so, just to show people how it's doing. If I give you an update tomorrow or something, unless like everything dies, like I don't think that's gonna happen, you're not really gonna gain much. But also there's some kind of cool mossy stuff down here, and it looks like phoenix moss plus algae to my somewhat trained eye. And yeah, the little Nana Petite and Buse and some more Nana Petite over there. Yeah, I like that stuff. I also like these orange scrimpies. They just don't, they're not orange flavored. I don't know what's the deal. Somebody named them wrong. Anyway, catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.